Hey there, Melissa with Atlas CFO, and we're talking about software. I might be a little ranty on this one, but stick with me. Hopefully it will be helpful before you invest any further. So the first thing I want to point out is changing software, adding software, all of the things software is very expensive. And many times you think about the cost of the software. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the time that it is going to take your company to research and engage and get it set up and organize it and correspond. We tell people you need 4 to 6 months to add on software. Yeah, just think about that. Or even change software. It's going to take 4 to 6 months. So the amount of time that you're investing in this new software, whether it's an additional piece of software or it's a replacement piece of software, is considerable. So I encourage people, don't try software. You want to do a whole bunch of work beforehand before you actually agree to change software or to add on a piece of software. Like I said, I'm a little ranty because I deal with this a lot. We work in 14 different software packages. Of those 14, 12 of them are construction industry specific, which is important, and I'll talk about it in a minute. But when we hear about our contractors or people that are coming to us with questions, ask about new software, there are some common things that we need to talk about. One, what is the reason that you're doing this? Your new software should make you faster, not slower, but faster. It should make you more profitable. It should provide better reporting, and it should not already be a part of the software package that you already own. I know this sounds crazy, but I will deal with this topic time and time again where our client is using a very nice piece of software, but they did not realize that their software currently had the capability of what they were looking for. They just didn't ask. They just didn't ask. If you don't ask, you don't get, and that's one of the most important things you can do before you make any other decisions. Now, there are some very compelling reasons to change software. And I will be the first one to tell you that in our construction company, we change software. And the reason why we change software is because of the first one right here. We had a very important customer that was requiring, at the time, document imaging. And document imaging was not available in the software package that we were using. We exhausted it. We exhausted our current software. We exhausted any add-on packages. At the time, there was nothing else for us to do, so we had to make a change in software. That is sometimes the case. But before you decide you're going to make a decision like that, research. The second reason, and this one I'll also stand behind, is you're not using industry-specific software. QuickBooks Desktop, QuickBooks Online is actually, it's not construction-specific software. They may have a construction version, but it does not do all of the things that construction software does. A good example would be AIA billing. AIA billing is built into our construction-specific software, and QuickBooks does not have that capability. Another one would be the WIP report. So there's a lot of things that are not part of those packages, and as you grow, you may decide, I really want to get some of this industry-specific capabilities within our software. Number 3, which kind of goes back to number 1. You've done it. You've called the software company. You've asked for all the bells and whistles. You've asked for everything that you can get turned on. You've been trained. You've invested in training. You've done it. And you finally exhausted everything that you can do. So you're going to have to go outside of your core offering. Even when you do that, most of our software companies have companies that they work well with, meaning their integrations work better. They don't lose data between the two. They have a really nice process. So even if you've exhausted the resources with your current software package, still go to them and see if you can work with somebody that's a partner to them. Number 4, productivity. I mentioned this earlier, if you can do it faster. You really have to think about this one. If you're doing it manually and you can make it faster in software, this is a good use of software. If you think that a different piece of software may be faster, you're really going to want to research that. It can be true. Absolutely, it can be true, but you want to make sure you're going in with your eyes wide open. And finally, a real issue is sunsetting of software. During the purchases of various software packages, we'll have maybe a giant goes in and purchases different software packages. They may decide that they have 3 software packages that do exactly the same thing and they're going to sunset one. In that case, you have no choice. But I want to talk about the reasons to not get new software, because this is where, I could tell stories and stories and stories on this slide alone. So not doing your research is not a good reason. If you have not gone to your current software provider, and I want to make sure that I specify if you're using construction-specific software. This you may not have a lot of options with QuickBooks. There would be a lot of add-ons, but if you're already using industry-specific software, make sure that you do all of your research on what they offer. I just had somebody come to me and say that they went out and bought a time card package. They bought a time card package, but their existing software had the package already a part of their software. They didn't know. They invested the money and the time and the energy and all of the things just to find out that they didn't need to pay for any of it. It was already embedded in their software. So you got to do your research. Aesthetics. I've had people say, well, I don't like the way it looks. Oh, none of them are pretty. And you know what? We don't love any one of them. Don't get new software because you don't like the way it looks. You're looking for functionality. And if you have something that's broken, then that's something different than I just don't like the way it looks. I'm going to talk about something being broken. If you have something that's broken, that's rare. It's rare today. If I went back 20 years, it was more common to have things broken, but now it's rare. If you're with a reputable software company, you shouldn't have broken items. You shouldn't have issues with reliability. Those are 20-year-old problems, and we really don't have them now. Bad processes. So we have a bad process today, but software is going to fix it. Software won't fix it. You're just going to take your bad process and move it into new software. You're going to take your bad chart of accounts and move it into new software. You're going to take your bad billing process and move it into new software. Software doesn't fix it. In fact, sometimes it can make it worse. It could make it come to a head where you're like, well, now we have to fix this process, but that's really not the way you want to learn. You want to have the best process and the best systems you can possibly have in the software you already own. Get it beautiful where you are, and then whenever you move or whenever you add on, it's just going to be that much more beneficial and you're going to enjoy it that much more. Accountability. So somebody won't do their job today, but software is going to make them do their job. Nope. They won't do their job in the new software either. In fact, it might be worse because they have to learn new software. Fix accountability early, not in software. And finally, a little bit of the other two, but you're not doing it right now. You are recording it incorrectly in the incorrect cost codes, so you're going to get new software so that you'll record it correctly. Nope, you'll still do it wrong. You want to make sure that you correct it today. This is kind of a no excuses topic, right? I am ranty on this one because I spend so much time in it, and I just think, oh my gosh, if people knew all the things their software that they own could do for them, they would just, like, the clouds would part and they'd be so excited because there's all these capabilities that we have, and it's exciting and it's wonderful, and we can feel good about that. Okay. So let me talk about some common add-ons. I've talked a little bit about some of these, but these are the ones that you want to make sure your current software provider does not offer before you go and buy something else. This is not an extensive list. This is just some of the ones that we see quite often. So first is time card, mobile timekeeping, anything around that time card world, which is time card rolls to payroll. Many of our construction software companies have some sort of a time card feature that is either already there or you can add for a small fee. Very nice features. So make sure you find that out before you buy a different time card system. Second is document imaging or document routing. This is where you're attaching a document into your accounting software. So think about you've got an AP list, an AP invoice, and you're going to attach it to the actual transaction. It's very common for our software to have that now. And there were periods of time where it wasn't, but now we do have that. So if you start to look at other packages, we see some companies that have like some AP packages where you're getting document imaging, that they could be perfect for you. But before you go in there to that world, you want to make sure that you don't have that capability already. Another add-on to this is routing. So the ability to then send the invoice to the appropriate person to authorize it going into the software. So many times those are linked. And finally, anything around payroll processing, human resources. We're seeing more and more package offerings where they might have the ability to do their own outsourced payroll, which is amazing, or they have some really strong partners that work together on outsourced payroll or HR functions or access to an employee portal. So these you want to make sure that you check out. Also, we're seeing more and more project management software getting embedded into construction accounting software or project management software that's getting accounting software. So again, I didn't put it up here, but you want to make sure that you look at everything that's available first, just directly from the package, and then from there go to the integrations that they support before you look at just doing a search to find new software. A few more thoughts. Some of these I've already mentioned, but it's worth talking about it again. If you're thinking that you need to invest in new software or additional software, add-on software, we recommend you do 4 to 6 hours of training with your current software to make sure that you're utilizing everything to the best ability that you have. It could be the way you set up your jobs is problematic and you can make it more streamlined. You could have some functions with billings and AIA that would make it faster to bill within your current software. Maybe you've got some additional things that you can buy that go right along with your software, like time card. So call the sales representative. I like to call the salesperson because the salesperson, that's their job. They know what they offer and how it works, and well, their job is to sell you on it. But that's where I get my best information is I start with that person to find out what are all the capabilities. And from then I can decide, okay, do I want to go with a core add-on? Do I want to go with maybe an integration? And also go to them and talk about integrations. What are the partner packages? What are the packages that just work so well with your current software that you don't have to redesign everything? You just need to add a little bit. Okay, I'm done. I'm done ranting. I'm done ranting. Get good software and then lean into it and learn every single thing you can about that software, because that's where you get the productivity. And I was at fault at this too. Whenever we first started in our contractor and we had software that was already existing, I remember just thinking there were so many things that software could do that I didn't even know. And it took me years to figure out exactly what that software was capable of doing. And during that process, we made things faster and better and stronger. So first, lean in. It's not always greener on the other side, and you can do this. It's actually really fun to feel like you're making your software so productive and so efficient and so good for you. Thank you for joining me and listening to me rant about software. And we have some other videos about software. If you'd like to watch those, please feel free, because I think I'm just as passionate in all of those. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with software. Thank you for joining me. It's always good to spend time with you, and we'll see you soon.